Welcome to the streets of Monaco. The race here is usually pretty processional. The cars tend to follow each other. Whoever starts on pole wins, right? Well, kind of, but there are opportunities to win this race on strategy. Here it's an unusual track. Unlike most tracks where we talk about the undercut, where a driver puts on fresh tyres, gets a pace advantage, overtakes the cars he's racing against, here we have a phenomenon called the overcut. Now the reason for that is because when they put on the new tyres, they're usually the harder one. Most drivers will start on the soft because they will qualify on the soft here. So most drivers will start on the soft, they'll move on to the medium. On that medium tyre, they will then have to get them up to temperature. That process takes 1 or 2 laps. On those 1 or 2 laps, they become slightly vulnerable. If a car that stays out longer can make up time in those 1 or 2 laps, they can actually overcut by pitting later. So that's the thing to watch out for in Sunday's race. Drivers that go early may be they might be a bit vulnerable to drivers pitting a bit later. So you'll see all of that going on. And then the other big thing about Monaco is finding a gap in the traffic. You'll hear drivers throughout qualifying, throughout the race, talk about traffic, how difficult it is, how many people get in the way, and that slows down a car dramatically. However, if you can find a gap in the traffic and get that overcut strategy working, it's actually a recipe for moving forward in the Monaco Grand Prix rather than just staying where you are. So that's the thing to look out for on Sunday. Hopefully we'll see some of it. You never know, we might see a safety car, which will mix it up even more. But overtaking-wise, I doubt there's going to be much. So keep an eye on those pit stops and when they happen to find out who's moving up the order at Monaco and who's dropping back.
I tweeted a picture earlier this week of one of the quirks that happens here in the Monaco Harbour whenever there's a racetrack on. And just before I explain what that is, let me show you just how close this is to the racetrack. So here's the Monaco Harbour to my left, and then to my right, that's racetrack. That is the straight. So the tunnel, the chicane is there, to back corner, leading into the swimming pool chicane. So we are as close to a racetrack as, marshals basically stand this close. When there's a track session on, these boats are required to basically shift back about 20 metres. The reason for that is safety. Some drivers have ended up in the harbour here before during races. The most famous name, Alberto Ascari in 1955. So even in a place as crazy as this, where it's easy to think, a race just happens in Monaco in the middle of the Principality, they're still very, very, very stringent on those sorts of rules, as you can imagine. This place is crazy. This is just one line in a bunch of yachts that you have here. There's more over there. There's even more towards the paddock. There's some ones with great names. There's one called Emoji, and the O is the See No Evil Monkey, which I think is great. One for Alan Partridge fans, potentially more in the UK than in America. There's a boat called Alpha Papa, the next harbour over, which is in itself massive. So you've got 2 harbours just next to each other that are huge. And yeah, I saw some of these guys when I was here for practice. I was watching the track mostly, but occasionally I'd glance over what these guys were doing. And it's pretty much the same as what they're doing now. It just so happened that there were race cars coming past them as well. And occasionally you have people watching. Some people were sitting around and just having a good time, which is just bonkers. And that's what Monte Carlo really is here. It's just a bonkers place to have a bonkers race. And yeah, so I'm loving it. It's great.
The Monaco Grand Prix circuit. We've got to back the swimming pool chicane, some of the fastest parts on the circuit. That's often where a qualifying lap can go right and where it can go wrong. It's where Max Verstappen put it in the wall in FP3 last year. So what can we expect from qualifying in Monaco? Well, it's the most important session of the weekend. We all know that. Whoever starts on pole has by far the best chance of winning the Grand Prix. It's so difficult to overtake here that if you start on pole, you kind of dictate the pace of the race and you go from there. Based on Thursday, Mercedes are way ahead of the rest of the field. They look like the absolute class of the field. The car, despite its long wheelbase, working remarkably well in the slow speed corners around the track. There's every chance that they're going to turn up tomorrow and smash it. The only person I think that can get in their way is Max Verstappen. He had a bad Thursday. A bit of debris went into his radiator, caused a leak, and the team had to fix it. So we didn't actually see the true pace of that car. But if you look at the long run pace, the Red Bull actually looks quite quick. Convert that back to short run pace, and maybe the Red Bull can split the Mercedes. But ultimately we're looking at probably a straight fight between Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. Bottas has been on pole the last 3 races in a row. That's massively impressive against a qualifier like Lewis Hamilton. But Hamilton desperately wants to win here. He's only done it twice in his career, and yet this is his home race. He lives literally round the corner in a tower block overlooking the beach. So this is a place where he wants to prove his point. So, predictions. Who do I think is going to be on pole? I'm going to go with Valtteri Bottas. I'm going to say 4 in a row. He's looking that good at the moment. I think something for Lewis is going to go slightly wrong. I don't know what. I just don't think he's going to get the tyres quite in the right window, or he's going to get traffic, or something's going to go wrong on his Q3 lap. So I'm putting him third. And in between, Max Verstappen. That should make for a brilliant race. So hopefully we'll see something as exciting as that come qualifying day.